picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
A little midweek reporting, if you don't mind. I'll splice this in on the weekend's report. But I wanted to take the opportunity this evening it's Wednesday, to put a base coat of color on the Garthok so that it can be, drying in and settling and doing all that good stuff by the time the weekend comes and I want to start painting for earnest. Basically just mixed up a light tan color that I can put darkers and lighters on. Easier to start painting that than to paint on the gray, which is what it was before. So, quick report to show that yes, I did do a base of tan that I mixed up before I started putting all the colors on. Well, good morning. It's Saturday and I am working on the Garthok. And if I had to use one word to describe this character, it would be brown. Brown upon brown upon brown. And that's not going to be easy to differentiate all the browns. Watch the movie again to get a better idea. And it's brown. It's got some darker aspects to it that are either a dark gray, or I've seen some kits that actually take that into a green or a blue. I'm going to go with the grays. Worked a little bit on the totem, and I'm mostly done with it. Simple wash and then some highlighting, but I can tell you I know why they chose this particular totem for the kit is because it is the most colorful and really helps break up all of the brown. I mean, when there's brown and there's brown. So making the kit stand out from the sandy brown and the dirt and the other monoliths is going to be a challenge. It's brown with a brown harness. Like I say, brown. So what I've done is I put a base coat on this a couple days ago of a mixture of a tan and a rust to give a good base. Now there will be lights and darks going on this, and what I'm doing this morning is starting to lay in some of the brown tones, and I'm doing that with Comart, which works really well as far as sinking into the seam, into the wrinkles and whatnot. And I've got the nails and the teeth painted just in a blank tan color to kind of block those out and give me something to show some contrast. So I'm going to continue on with the browning on the rougher parts of the skin, and where you see some of the smoother stuff is going to be where I'm going to put some more of the pinkish tones that were I noticed on the belly and on the underside of the chin, and on the chest. There was a little bit more of a flesh-colored pink tone that would allow some break in all of the browning. But that's where I am right now, so let me get on with that. Okay, what I've just done is masked in some basic colors. And like I say, they're just there to give me my extremes. Like this is the brown that's going to be on the straps. And I want to make sure that my body doesn't get that dark at any one point. I want those straps to still have some contrast. So that gives me my darkest. I've got put in some tones for the nails and the wrapping on the tail, so that I make sure that my lightest color is still darker than that, so that they still have some contrast. But I'm starting to put in some tones, and you can see the belly has a lighter tone than the browns of the rest of the body. And here's a shot of the nails for an example, so that you can see the contrast of the nail versus the rest of the hand. And on the head, or at least the back part of the head, you can see I've roughed into teeth color and the color of the armor at the top, so that we could start seeing where the contrasts, tuck that in, where the contrasts and where the shadows lie, and give me my lights and darks. So I'm going to let all that settle in and dry for a while, then come back and give it another hit a little bit later on. In addition to working with the Garthok this weekend, one of the other things I am doing is working on a project for the Star Trek Continues. I hesitate to use the word fan film productions because they are so much better than your typical fan film. They are truly doing 5th season, 4th season Star Trek episodes. Their production values are just so good. But I worked on the last couple of episodes that they've done in my own meager way. I've contributed some work to them for their Mirror Universe episode. I provided the stencils by which they were able to paint the Mirror Universe logo on everything. And in the last episode, I did some work on their engine room. And that's what I'm doing this weekend. As you know from the results of their last Kickstarter, they were not only able to fully fund the next couple of episodes, but they actually raised enough money to build their complete engine room, which is something that they wanted to do. And so they contacted me, William Smith, who is one of the lead set decorators, contacted me and once again to need my help on some stuff, and happily I joined in. I think what they're doing is quite remarkable, so I was happy to have my name attached to it in any small way. So this weekend I am working on some new engineering room display controls so that they can do the big panels, and let me show you what they are. You might recognize some of this. It is the big panels that go in engineering. You'll see them in their actual production, I'm sure. But what I've done is William had sent me a file that I needed to clean up and basically redraw in my software format so that I could plot them. And what they're going to do is pop these down on pre-painted gray panels, and these little dots will show our indications to them as to where to drill holes in that so that they can put either lights or the colored board behind them. Some of these will actually be white, but I have to plot everything in black, and then I'll plot the white bits and pop it on top. You'll see when they're done what it actually will look like. But so right now I've plotted all of these, and I'm just doing what they call weeding. I am removing all of the extraneous black vinyl, so all that is left is what they wanted, and I will then cover this with a transfer tape and mail it off. But this is the first panel, and I'm going to go ahead and weed the rest of them. Okay, I'm starting to lay in that secondary color, what you would call either a gray or I've seen it done as a deep green or a deep blue and some other builds, but to me it looks more like a gray. So this screen capture shows me where on the Garthok it needs to be, and I remember it being around the face there, and it's also on the rougher part of the shoulders and around the rougher part of the legs as well. So carrying that information over to the kit, and I will lay in those base colors as well. Well, anybody who's followed my model building for any length of time will recognize this as the "what the hell have you done" stage. All of my models go through this. This is where I seemingly take 9 steps backwards in order to make 1 step forward. And what I've done is I've just mucked on a bunch of really dark paint in these areas that have been delineated as such, and you can see it over here on the face as well. Let me pull that up so you can see. Really junked it up, and what I've done that for is to make sure that the darkest of dark paints is in all of the creases, so that when I dry brush over it, it will give it some more life. But basically what I'm doing is massing in the colors. And I took my cues from a couple other builds, as well as the box art, as well as, of course, screen caps, and have determined that basically every place where there is this scaly, pebbly surface, that is where I've made my border of the dark gray. and every place that is smooth and muscular, that is where I've left this lighter color. And like I'm gonna go back over here with dry brushing to bring up the overall tone. You'll see that the straps have all but disappeared in there, so I definitely need to lighten some of this up so that these straps remain dark brown. But what I've done is to throw in some color. So you can see, like, on the palms of the hands are one color, the backs of the hands are another. Let all this dry for a few hours, and then go back to stippling on some other color. I did work on the base some and re-pointed the feet. I threw in some epoxy sculpt where the like back in this back corner and on this front corner to reposition the feet so that it fits on this base better, without giving those false impressions of where the feet go. And now it fits better around where the totem goes because it doesn't bump into it like it did before. I still have to kind of level that up so that it sits flat where it should be. But it's coming along nicely. Not rushing it, taking my time with it. But we'll see. I'm starting to get some really interesting textures and colors in there that I will dry brush over. Here's a quick idea of what the panels will look like when they're done. Now, all those dots that you see as black dots are going to be holes in the final wood panels where they will either put flashing lights or a color panel behind it that will change colors. But these are the what the final boards will look like. They'll be gray with this black and white vinyl on it. And here's the white panels, or the white vinyl. As you can see, white is somewhat harder to see when you're weeding, so they put it on a blue background as opposed to a white paper, because white vinyl on white paper was madness, I tell you. It's just madness. So you can see these are the details I need to transfer over to the other sheet. And that brings us to a close on Saturday evening. Got a lot done this weekend, or so far this weekend. Took some time out to go treat myself to a movie. Let's see where we are. Saturday night we have the Oh My God coat on the Garthok, and we have all of the vinyl weeded for the engineering panels, and that's going to allow us tomorrow to put the engineering panels together and get those all wrapped up and ready to send down to Florida. And I'm going to get another stab on Garthok. It's going to take a couple, 3 sessions with the lightning and different colors to brighten that back up. And God willing, I'll actually maybe even get the Barbarella ship finished tomorrow. That'll be a nice change. I need to. I'm this close to finishing it. I really just need to stop doing all these, picking up other things, and just finish that ship. But I'll get that done. And I got some good news in the email tonight that Yoda's robes are finally on his way. So I'm supposed to have those by next weekend. So maybe next weekend will be all about dressing Yoda. This is the, again, it's still Saturday night. This is the final stage for the evening on the totem and on the Garthok. You can see all that nice work that I went in and did is all prelude. It's all undercoat to what I've done now, which is to put this darkest of dark colors on here that, again, is going to serve to be what's in the wrinkles and creases of the lighter colors as I put them on. But it will not nearly be this stark. There will be a blended color that is between those two. The whole kit is basically going to get lightened up. And here you can see what I was talking about earlier as far as redoing the foot pads in epoxy sculpt so that I could have it sit on the base a little better. This is how it sits now. me get that back foot in place. There we go. See, it just kind of locks it a lot better. It doesn't rock back and forth, and allows the totem to sit in next to it. I still need to put something underneath to prop that up level, but it's mostly ready. And then the hands will go in there and that sort of thing. But I'm gonna definitely be brightening up these tomorrow. Welcome back. It is Sunday, slightly afternoon. The sermon went a little long today, so that has cut into my working time this afternoon. And if any of you follow my videos for any length of time, you'll notice that my approach seems to be scattershot at best. I flit from project to project as things are drying and other things present themselves. But today, time management is getting the best of me. I have to get these engineering panels done today because I've committed myself to getting them in the mail tomorrow. So really, I'm not going to be able to do much more on Garthok today unless I get this stuff done first. So let me show you where we are on the progress, and hopefully I'll get all these done and I can get on to the other parts. As an example, here is one of the panels in its finished configuration. Now, all the little black dots you see are really only markers. They are placeholders for where the kind people at the actual production company will be drilling holes in the panel for colored, I guess, I don't think they're lights. What I think they are is they're colored pieces of material that slide back behind the holes, and by sliding them back and forth you get different colors. I believe that's how they're doing it. But anyway, all of these dots are place markers for holes that will be drilled in the final piece of wood or whatever material. What I'm responsible for is putting the lettering down and these border boxes. Now this is what it looks like on the actual size. This is a printout. This is the actual size. So you can determine from there, like this 74Z, that 74Z this one here needs to be replaced with a white version of that, which I've got on one of these sheets. Right here is the 74Z, that is the white vinyl. I basically have to put that in place of this, that in place of that, and get all of these things taped down so that they can transfer them to their final piece of wood. I guess it's gray painted wood, I'm not sure. But that's for them to worry about. This is for me to get ready for them to... I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry, I've had too much coffee today. But that's what I've got to do. I've got to put some of those outlines around those blocks. Okay, looking at the master plot for this panel, I can see that this outline here needs to be white. This lettering here needs to be white. This outline here needs to be white, but that's it. This outline here needs to be white. This 74Z needs to be white. Polymask needs to be white. This line here needs to be white. And that's it on this whole panel. So those are the elements that I have to remove from this sheet and replace with the white versions. So first I need to find the white versions, tape those, and then position them over top of where these black ones are, so that I know that it's nailed down in the right place before I remove the black ones. Okay, here's where things get tricky. What I need to do is I have pulled out the bits that I need to replace, and this is the spot where it needs to go. Now normally I would throw this on my light table, but since my light table is full of Garthok right now and really too much of a burden to clean off, what I need to do is pull out my old Animator's light table and turn on the bulb. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take this piece and lay it over top of the piece that's here, and then tape it down, remove the bottom one, and replace it with the top one. It's all very technical, but that's basically what I'm going to do, and I'm using this tight light table to make sure everything lines up. That's why I went ahead and plotted these, even though I knew I wasn't going to need them ultimately, but they are perfect placeholders for the white version. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this because it's white, but as you can see, I have replaced the white outline and the white lettering with the, or the black outline and the black lettering with the white vinyl. Now, because these circles are only placeholders, it doesn't really matter if they're black or white, because they're only going to be used as a drilling guide. So it's fine that those are white. All these black ones will be taken off anyway. But let me turn the light on so maybe you can see it a little bit better. There. So you can see it's still there. And when this whole thing is laid down over top of a gray board, the white will just pop right up. But that's how you replace a bit of black vinyl with white vinyl. So I'm going to do that on the rest of it. Okay, it took me the majority of the afternoon, but I've got all 5 of these panels done and ready to mail. So what I'm going to do is tape the printout of the actual panel to the plotted part and roll them up and get them ready to send to Mr. Smith in Florida. Unfortunately, I don't think that leaves me much time to do anything else this afternoon. Well, not to say that I didn't get anything else but those panels done. I did get some white paint put on the base for the Barbarella kit, so that's almost done. I may touch it a little bit after I have put this video together, or while it's being put together. So that's the extent of my weekend. I did not get any further on the Garthok today because of getting the panels done, but at least that is a check mark that is off of my to-do list. And that's going to do it for another fun-filled weekend. Like I said just seconds ago, sorry I didn't get more done, but I didn't have the luxury of going from project to project this weekend. I needed to get those panels done and in the mail tomorrow, coming up on the 4th of July weekend next week, so we're going to lose a day of post, and I need to get those down to Florida, down to Mr. Smith. So, I want to thank again all of my members and new members, and my brother Pete, my brother Raymond, who is known as Pete. He's joined my illustrious ranks of subscribers, so hello. Glad you could make it. I'll try to have something more interesting next weekend. Sorry about the shortchanging this week, but with the long weekend, like I said, next weekend is a 3-day weekend for us state employees, so that means more time to work on finishing up these 2 kits. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to commit myself to it. After the Garthok, that is going to be it for figures for a while. I'm actually going to get back to my first love, which is making spaceships and starships. I've got a couple really interesting ones lined up. I've got to finish the Milano now that I've got a base coat on it. But that's one. The second one is the other kit that I picked up from Wonderfest, and that is the transport ship from Prometheus, which is really looking like a pretty complicated build, and it's a spaceship. Yay! And the Lex I may start on, and that's a spaceship. So I'm getting back off terrestrial and back into space. So yay! So until next week, go out, enjoy yourself, hug your family, talk to your family if you haven't talked to them for a while. They miss you, and I'll see you next week.